Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay here. Finally, I know I'm late, but I'm late for a reason. I actually wanted to see Superman in this and then do my review of them. So, this is my review for the Fantastic Four First Steps, which came out, earlier last month. Um, there's a lot of kind of controversy around this movie for all of the wrong reasons, I personally feel, and I want to address those now that I'm actually doing my review. Now, first and foremost, I like the movie. I did enjoy the movie overall. Um, I think it was a step in the right direction for Marvel with the Fantastic Four. I like the way that they handle stuff with it, and I kind of use this as a cue, a cue to myself as to where they may lead going into the X-Men coming up, and Doomsday and things of that nature. But overall, so this movie we got, Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic, which I guess some seen as a controversial casting or a woke casting. I don't think so. Here's the thing, I get it. Traditionally, Mr. Fantastic is a white male. Okay, I don't necessarily see what him being white necessarily plays into his character. It just doesn't. Unless that means so much to you, I guess. Pedro Pascal actually has a look that is kind of, he has a very kind of neutral look, I guess you could say. He can look various ways. But I'd rather have a very qualified actor to play a role than just somebody that looks like the role. There's a reason why, even though Scott Adkins is a great martial artist and he can look the role of Batman, there's a reason why they never cast him as Batman, because he's not a strong actor. Pedro Pascal is one of the stronger actors currently, so yes, that makes perfect sense. He could pull off that leader, type of, gravitas. He brings that to the he brings that to the role. So yeah, you got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. There was some controversy around that, but I'll get into that in a second. And then you have Mr. Baccarat, I believe that's how you pronounce it, from The Bear, as the Thing, Ben Grimm. And then you have Mr. Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. So yeah, like I said, I thought this was really good. But you can't talk about this movie without talking about the controversy. The whole story of the movie is, Reed and Susan, she gets pregnant, so they have the kid, and then Galactus sends his herald. First bit of controversy. He sends his herald to, pretty much tell the world that it's coming to an end. Galactus is coming to eat the Earth. And he sends the Silver Surfer. This becomes a problem because in this version of it, it's Shia LaBeouf, played by Julia Garner. It's Shia LaBeouf. And people lost their mind. They're like, if we're going to get the Silver Surfer, we need Norrin Radd. And my question is why? Here's the thing. Shia LaBeouf is in the comics. Granted, it's not a huge part that she has, but she played the part. I thought she was a pretty good Silver Surfer. She's a good actress, and I think she did a good job. And I also think, as you've seen, from the movie, it's been out long enough. They defeat Galactus at the end of it, but the way that he's defeated is a reason why Norrin Radd can later come. And I actually just had this whole conversation about the Superman review I did. Everybody wants everything right now. We live in this microwave society. So you got Silver Surfer, it just happens to be Shia LaBeouf. That does not mean they won't do Norrin Radd. I've heard people like Tyrone Magnus crying about that and, why couldn't John Krasinski do it? They got him in, just to kill him off, so they could have. They're just being woke with Pedro Pascal. No, John Krasinski is a very busy actor and a director. So maybe he didn't have the time, and maybe they went with the best option. You ever think about that? No, because everything has to be woke or something to cry about. You know, Norrin Rad can come. Shia LaBeouf can be the thing that ends up drawing Norrin Rad, or maybe Norrin Rad is, you know, maybe he's in the confines somewhere or something like that. Who knows? I'm pretty sure they are going to use Norrin Rad. Maybe we get Norrin Rad in Doomsday. Maybe that's his big thing. The same way we got Captain Marvel when that time came. You know, it's people see stuff there just like everything right now, and it taints the art of the movie. Yes, there have been bad movies, but guess what? That happens all the time. But there, if you give the artist time and you don't just skew the view of things, see where they're going. If they make something that's super woke, or it seems that way, understood. This movie was tainted with that from the beginning because, oh, Sue Storm is the leader of the group. No, she's not. But what she was a strong member of the group. Reed was clearly the leader, and she was his partner. She is like, you know, I mean, Ben Grimm with Reed is, you know, they're like a tandem, but she has her strengths. We are past the phase where it's just, you know, the women are just there to be there. Like I heard people talking about how they like the Tim Story Fantastic Four. Oh, that's my Fantastic Four. They're comic accurate. Are they? You have a problem with Pedro Pascal being Reed Richards, but you didn't have a problem with Jessica Alba being Sue Storm. Huh? This thing is too soft or whatnot, but you had the dude, I forget his name, who played the thing in that version. The thing was a lot smaller, but I guess because he had the burly man voice, it was cool. Johnny Storm was great in the old one, and he's good in this. He's great in this one. It seems like anytime things are changed in the slightest manner, it's problematic. If a woman is in any role that's possibly of power, even if she's alongside her partner, it's, oh no. You know, the thing has to have just this horrible burly voice. He can't have the voice that you get what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just it's childish. And sometimes you have to build out to get true. Let these people find their footing to get to something, and then you may end up getting the most comic accurate version of something. But if you down it and then it doesn't garner the money that it needs, you're going to end up having to wait 5 years, 6 years, 10 years for another iteration of that because it wasn't up to your liking. But like I said with Superman, these movies at their core, these are comic movies. Yes, we grew up with them, but these are to bring in a child or a teenager fan base that can be with this property for years. The same way, you know, a lot of us were when Iron Man first came out, leading up to Endgame. That's why they were able to gain all that revenue and all that, you know, real estate with us because of the time put in, and we let that build. All the movies were not good. They just weren't. Why was Peppermint Potts or whatever the hell her name is, and why did she get to have all of that she had in Iron Man 3 for no reason? But nobody complained about it because of the climate at the time. And now we're in this crybaby thing as far as with comic movies specifically. You know what I mean? So yeah, besides that. Sorry for that little tangent. But, so, you know, we had Galactus. I really liked Galactus. It was very good to see him in his totality, the way they did it versus how we had him before. So that was cool. I like how they did it. The scale of him was, you know, yeah. You know, he's supposed to be big, but we all know that he can, you know, change his size and whatnot. I don't know if this one, because he was pretty much the same size all the way, but hey, it was fine. It was good. He was slightly menacing, you know. It was more of his tone and his demeanor. He didn't really do anything crazy, you know what I mean? So that was cool. But I did like Shia LaBeouf. I thought that was a really good version of it. And I thought she looked really good when she was, you know, surfing through whatever and everything. I thought that was really cool. And she had more of an intimidating factor to her. You know, like, she felt like the Terminator from T2 coming for you. Like, that's how her demeanor was to me. So I like that. I really like the ending. I like how they use the power of, like, a mother saving her child to just kind of restrain Galactus long enough for somebody else to come and assist. Not that she beat Galactus or nothing, but it took every ounce of her to pretty much, for her, it drained her of everything. But that's something a mother would do. So it made total sense to me, her saving the day, and that factor of her just kind of trying to hold Galactus and whatnot and push him to the portal. It makes sense that she had the extra level of strength to do that. I like how they made her powers look. I like how all their powers look. And they actually made Mr. Fantastic's powers look reasonable for once, which I was always worried about that because they always look goofy, from the Fan Force Stick version that we had a few years ago to the Tim Story ones. It always looked just odd, and they actually made his abilities and the graphics of them work, and I really like that. So I do. That's one thing you can trust with Marvel to do, is to make those things look good. I'm really curious to see how they do some of these X-Men things. But yeah, so that's how it just Shia LaBeouf knocked Galactus into the portal and on his way. Then Fantastic Four, they saved the day. Cool. And I thought it was a good movie. I don't really have any. There was a couple of dry spots with a little, but that happens with movies. You have to build a story. I'm willing to take a few moments to, be quote unquote bored for the story to progress and to build. That's what really matters. Then at the end we get the stinger with Doom coming in with Franklin Richards at the very end. Just a little teaser, nothing too crazy. And I actually like that they did that. I did see that. I'm pretty sure Doom is going to have a different mask in the actual movie when they actually show him, because he has that very, that very shiny, older looking mask. I don't like that one. I mean, if he wears it, that's fine, but I, prefer a more Doom looking one, so. But yeah, overall the movie was cool. I didn't have any complaints. Story wise, it was better than Superman to me. Story wise, it was the better of the two comic book movies we got this summer. Entertainment wise, I was more entertained with Superman. And actually, I gave Superman a B-. I'm giving Fantastic Four just a solid B. It didn't blow me away. It visually looked good and things like that. Like I said, the story was a little bit more grasping just because of the different things that were going on. So I liked it. I'm looking forward to see what they do with them going forward. We know they're going to be in Doomsday and things of that nature. So we'll see. But that was my recap, review, rant, tangent on Fantastic Four. Let me know what you thought, what you think. Hop in the comments. Definitely respond back. And so yeah, give us a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for your time. Have a good one.